A treat today for sure. We're so happy to have you guys all here. And you know what? This is a really great Friday. It's Friday. We've got some amazing people with us. We've got our friends Lori, who's a sales supervisor for Blue Diamond Resorts. Hello, Lori.
Hello.
And we have our friend Carolyn, who's a weddings manager for Blue Diamond Resorts. Hi,
Hi,
Carolyn.
everyone.
Amazing. Wonderful. Thanks for joining us, guys. This is going to be a day of celebration because we're talking about weddings and all great things with Blue Diamond Resorts and weddings. And we have our two experts here who we're so happy to have join us today. And we've got a ton of spoiled agents joining us live on Zoom. And we have them joining us live on Facebook. So Facebook's over here. Hi, guys. Nice to see everybody. Well, ladies, I know that you guys have a really great prize that you want to talk about. Carolyn, is that you that wants to talk about it?
Yeah, we're gonna get it started off with the most fun part. We are giving away a 3-night stay for up to two individuals staying at any Royalton or Planet Hollywood property, excluding Cuba.
Wow.
Um, Full details will be provided to the winner. There are some blackout days as per usual. And we're looking forward to hosting the draw on Monday. So, everyone who's tuned in today will get to hear pretty quickly if they've been the lucky recipient of this prize.
Look at wow, wow. People are wowing. We're wowing. That's so generous of you ladies. And I want to thank you in advance for that. That is amazing. Someone's going to get some sunshine real soon. I feel it.
Yes.
Lucky them. And thanks so much for that, guys. I know you guys are going to go over some great updates with everybody. But if I can also just do a quick housekeeping before we start. Please make sure that you add your email if you're on Facebook into the comments because we got quite a few already. Hi, guys. And also, if you're on Zoom, we've got your email, so we have you covered. But if you have any questions for the ladies, please put them in the Q&A. We're only going to keep the Q&A for the questions, not the hellos. And we're going to keep the chat, I call it for the oohs and the ahs, right? So also I'll be sharing the ladies' information where you can find the Blue Diamond Resorts on the Spoiled Agent supplier page as well. So I think after this, I'm going to let you guys get started. And I want to thank you in advance for joining us today, ladies.
Yeah, thank you, Susan, and thank you,
Yeah,
everyone, for
thank you.
joining today. We are going to quickly tell you a little bit about today's agenda so you know what to expect. We're going to start off by introducing our brand. Who is Blue Diamond and what does that mean? Where we're located and what you can expect from the properties. We're going to discuss the weddings team and how the Blue Diamond weddings team has a very unique structure. We're going to highlight some of the wedding packages and inclusions. And then we're going to focus on some of our favorite wedding locations throughout the Caribbean. We're going to finish this off with a question answer period. So we're really looking forward to hearing from you and getting started. Now, you will notice that there are 8 countries on this list. And while Cuba is a part of the Blue Diamond brand, it is a part that we do not, in our department, plan weddings for. So we've excluded it for this training. But if you have any questions about weddings in Cuba following today's session, please feel free to reach out to Lori and I, and we will go into some details with you about how to help. Overall, however, Blue Diamond is located in Mexico, Costa Rica, Jamaica, Dominican Republic, as well as some of the smaller islands like Antigua, St. Lucia, and Grenada. And what is Blue Diamond? So most people know Blue Diamond for the Royalton brand, which is our flagship and is located in almost every country that Blue Diamond is in. The Royalton is the family-friendly, all-inclusive experience that you probably are most familiar with in Mexico. The Royalton Riviera Cancun is one of our most popular properties and an extremely popular one with Canadians. What some individuals don't realize is that the hideaway property that we have throughout the Caribbean are always going to be attached to a Royalton property. So the hideaways are our adults only section as a part of the larger properties. And as an adults only section, there are certain perks, privileges, and areas that are exclusive only to adults when you see that you have a Royalton with a hideaway attached. Having properties such as this allow for really great multi-generational groups where everyone can get the experience that they're looking for. Next, we have Chic. So similar to our Hideaway properties, the Royalton Chic is a standalone adults only property. It is extremely popular for honeymooners, for LGBTQ groups, for bachelorettes, bachelor parties, those types of groups. And they're normally a little bit more of a hotel style of resort than maybe some of the spread out villas that you might know in other areas of the Caribbean. The Chic resorts are located in a few of the countries that we'll review with you today. And they're just a great adults only, true adults only option for anyone who's looking for that experience. Finally, we have our Planet Hollywoods. Currently, there are 2 Planet Hollywoods in the Caribbean, one being in Costa Rica and one being in Mexico. Our Planet Hollywoods are a luxurious experience with a little bit of a Hollywood twist. We have some really fun things around the properties that can really enhance the experience for both adults, but especially teens and children. And the adults only section in Cancun is also a great option for your clients. It's called Adult Scene. We will also take a little bit of time to go over what our Diamond Club and Star Class inclusions are. For every single property that Blue Diamond offers, there is a tiered experience that your clients can purchase into. Now, that tiered experience will almost consistently come with special beach area and access, usually a designated pool just for those individuals who are in that level of service. And many of our properties, it will come with special minibar items. It will come with a butler. What the most important thing to keep note of Diamond Club or Star Class is the change that we've experienced over the last year. Clients previously were able to upgrade their experience upon check-in if they were interested in purchasing that luxury option. Blue Diamond has now made Star Class and Diamond Club an exclusive room category, meaning there are limited rooms available at all of the hotels in that category. And this is quite beneficial for you, the agent, because the client will have to book that through you early on to secure that access. Now, at every single one of our Blue Diamond hotels, you can be sure that we have a fantastic fitness portfolio with designated fitness areas and experts that run classes throughout the day. There's always an activity log that your clients will get access to when they first check in, and lots going on at the property throughout the morning and afternoon. And we also have some phenomenal spas. Our spa experiences run from hydrotherapy sessions to special massages. We have a whole host of different services available to your clients to book in destination, and they're welcome to inquire about our list when they arrive. We also, at many of our Blue Diamond hotels, offer wedding areas, bridal suites, they're typically called, for any wedding couples that are looking to book out a private area in the spa for their day of wedding or day before to get any special treatments done. Okay, we're going to move into our wedding packages and our weddings team, and I'm going to hand it over to Lori.
Awesome. Thanks, Carolyn. So I'm going to go through first and explain a little bit how our weddings team works. So as much as I wish I was, and I'm sure Carolyn is the same, we are not located anywhere hot. Our team is actually based out of Toronto. So we do have staff actually coast to coast in Canada, but the majority of the team is hubbed in Toronto. So when you reach out to us for wedding information, you would be reaching out to our main inbox, which you're going to get our sales team, which is the team that I work with. So those staff will help you with any questions you have in terms of packages, wedding dates, extras, anything that your couple's looking to get answered. They can certainly help with that. And then basically what will happen is if the couple decides to move forward and book their wedding date, they will fill in an online booking form. We'll supply the link for that, provide the deposit, and then once that's processed, the couple will then be introduced to one of two teams. So if the wedding is a little bit shorter notice, kind of within the 6 to 7 month ratio or time frame or less, they will be introduced to to our offsite wedding consultant. They'll go right into that pool. If the wedding is further out than that, which is most of the weddings that we are working on, the couple will be introduced to our pre-planning team. And the pre-planning team will help the couple up until that 6 month mark when they're then introduced to their offsite consultant. The offsite consultant is going to work with the couple and help plan all of the details that the couple wants, whether it be menu, decor, any extras they're looking to add on, DJ services, whatever that may be. And then once the invoice is then paid and everything's finalized, 2 weeks before the couple travels, they'll be introduced to their on-site wedding coordinator, and that'll be the person that will help them in destination execute all of the things that have been planned for them. One of the reasons we kind of work this way and our planning and sales team are located off-site is that we can ensure that the focus remains for those people on the planning. And we are obviously sitting at a desk. We are there to help. Our time frame for responses is very quick. In the sales phase, you're looking at 24 business hours maximum. In the planning phase, it might be 2 to 3 business days, but the turnaround is very quick. Whereas the onsite team is obviously busy running around assisting the couples in destination, and that's their focus. So we want them to keep that their focus and let us focus on planning and the details. Sorry, I should back up and say that the pre-planning team and the offsite team is who would work with Carolyn. So they would report into Carolyn, and then the sales team is mine. And now we will go through the wedding packages that we offer. So I'm going to start with the fact that the packages basically come with the needs for a wedding. And they're in different levels. They come with a base level of guests that are included. And then we can always add on a la carte from there. So we always recommend the couple books the package that is the best fit for them. And then we can add on as needed for anything else that they're looking for. So the first package we're going to go through is our luxury or pH free. So again, the packages for Royalton and Planet Hollywood are the exact same. They are just branded and named differently. So this would be the luxury at Royalton and the pH free at Planet Hollywood. So this package is really popular for vow renewals, smaller wedding groups, or just couples who are looking for something a little bit more low key. It's gonna come with your symbolic ceremony and then a semi-private reception for up to 10 guests is what's included in the package price. This package is $1,099. Now it can be obtained complimentary. In order to do that, the wedding group itself needs to have 35 room nights booked at the resort or 14 or more Diamond Club room nights booked at the resort. And then the base package for 10 people would be complimentary, and then anything added on would be additional. Again, it's going to come with the 2 hour semi-private reception at one of the restaurants at the resort. This would be where we wouldn't be able to do speeches or dancing or DJ services or anything like this. This is definitely a little bit more low key package, but definitely something we can add on to. We have couples that will book this and then want to add on a cocktail hour or something like that, and we can certainly facilitate that. The next package that we offer is hands down the most popular. This is the Refined or the PH Love. This package more resembles of something you would see maybe at a typical wedding, not in destination. So it's going to be your symbolic ceremony. It's going to come with a cocktail hour with hors d'oeuvres and an hour of open bar. And then also it's going to come with a 3 hour private reception. So definitely the most popular one that we offer. This package is $4,599, and it does include 30 guests. Again, we can totally add on as needed. So if you have a group that wants this package and has 50 guests, not a problem. There is an additional guest fee and we can add on. The only limiting factor would really be the locations and the seating capacities, which we can certainly provide that to you if you need some assistance with kind of finding what would work for the group that you're working with. And then the biggest package that we offer with the most bells and whistles. This is really great for a wedding couple who, sometimes maybe isn't totally sure what they want to add on. This may just be a great point for them to have kind of everything included. This has the biggest differences between the refined and the exclusive, or the PH Glam in this case, it has a pre-wedding event. So this is typically used as a welcome event. We can even do it after the wedding if some people want to use it as a farewell event, depending on when guests are coming, and maybe it doesn't work before the wedding, but it works after for timing wise. We can certainly do that. But it does come with that additional 2-hour barbecue event, typically held on the beach, but we can do it in any of our private reception locations. It does include a cocktail hour. And then the other thing that it includes here is it's going to be a 4-hour private reception versus 3-hour private reception in the refined package. This package is at a higher price point, but it does include a lot of additional things. So you're looking at $13,199 and it includes 40 guests. Again, we can add on as needed. So we can do this package for 100 people if you want, no problem, as long as the location selected will support that.
Okay. And in addition to our packages just reviewed, we also have a number of South Asian wedding packages that we offer to the South Asian wedding community. And we have a dedicated team of 4 offsite wedding consultants who exclusively plan for South Asian weddings. Our South Asian wedding packages are also exclusively offered in Mexico and Dominican currently. So those are the 2 countries where you'd be able to purchase said packages. And our packages come with a number of bells and whistles that will help hit the mark for all of the events required over a week of wedding festivities for any South Asian wedding couples. If you have any questions, please do let us know. Finally, we have some really incredible cultural add-on experiences. Now, any of these experiences must be added to an existing wedding package that a client is purchasing, but we have a Mexican experience, a Dominican experience, a Costa Rican experience, a Jamaican experience, and soon to release a St. Lucian experience. All of these experiences have been built and created by our local teams in destination based on food, musicians, and events that are culturally significant to them. If you've been in the industry for a bit, you may have noticed that a lot of clients want to feel like they have traveled to a destination, and there's no better time to do that than for a destination wedding. Prices are available in the packages of any of the locations documents if your client is interested in them. And really, they are a truly unique thing that is exclusive to Blue Diamond. We are going to talk about each of the countries, and Lori is going to start off here with Mexico.
Perfect. Okay, so Mexico is probably our hottest seller. We do have probably the largest number of resorts in Mexico as well. This is also our biggest South Asian market as well, mainly because we do have the properties that are large enough to support the guest counts that we're looking at. So we'll start with our flagship resort, which is probably the one you probably are most familiar with, which would be Royalton Riviera Cancun. We do have a hideaway section at this property, so there is an adults only section of the larger Royalton resort itself. One of the best things about staying on, if you have groups that are looking to travel, you can have guests from a wedding stay at both sides of the property. Hideaway guests are able to access the rest of the Royalton side of the brand, but it does not go the other way. So just something to keep in mind, but it is a nice bonus. If you have anybody that's looking to stay on the hideaway side, they can certainly do that. Obviously, still attend the wedding, and then escape back to the hideaway side if needed. Next, I'll just quickly touch on Royalton Chic Cancun. So this is the standalone adults only resort. This is more so in the hotel zone, a little bit more of a party property. It definitely has a bit of a younger vibe. Definitely a wonderful property. And then we've got Royalton Splash Riviera Cancun, which is our newest property in Mexico. It is right beside Royalton Riviera Cancun. Important to note, it does not share privileges with that property. You cannot stay at one and use both. But Splash is lovely. It has a massive water park as well, just as an additional perk for the guests at a wedding. We've also got Mystique. So Mystique, this is definitely going to be more of a boutique style hotel. We don't actually plan for this property anymore. It is planned on site directly, basically just due to the location of the property and getting the services to the island. But we can always assist in putting you in touch with somebody who can assist with this property. And then last but not least, we have Planet Hollywood. So this property is quite large. It does also have an adults only section to it, which is adult scene. And definitely this is more in the Playa Mujeres area of Mexico. It does have a really beautiful beach and a lot of great amenities. So next we're going to go through, I'll just highlight one of our most popular wedding locations at each property. So this would be definitely the most popular at this location. So this is Royalton Riviera Cancun, and this is our Sky Terrace location. One thing I will note about at Royalton Properties, we do offer ceremonies, cocktail hours, and receptions at this space. However, we cannot do all three. So, and there is an additional fee of $1,500 for ceremonies only to use this space. So, we can do a maximum of 2 events. So you could do your ceremony and your cocktail hour and then relocate for your reception, or you could do your ceremony elsewhere and then do your cocktail hour and reception in this location. If you're looking to do ceremony and reception, we can do that, but we do need 4 hours in between in order to reset the space. So it's something to keep in mind, and that's across the board, all of our properties, that 4 hour gap is needed to tear down and reset. So just something to keep in mind as long as couples are aware about that. And our sales team can certainly assist with timing and stuff like that as well. Next, we have, so this is our largest Sky Terrace location and our newest. It is at Royalton Splash, Riviera Cancun. This location is quite large. As you can see from this photo, this actually has a ceremony, a cocktail hour, and a reception all set up at the same time. This property, we can do that. It is a very large location. So depending on guest count, we typically recommend it actually at this property to try to keep all of your events in the same space. It keeps your guests from having to, or the couple's guests from having to traipse all over the property in the heat. And nobody's looking as to figure out where to go. They go to one space, everything's done in the same spot, nobody's moving around, and it works really well. So as long as the guest count permits, this property, we definitely recommend that. And this would come at an additional $1,500 for a ceremony as well. Next, we have, so this is Royalton Chic Cancun. This would be our sunrise terrace that overlooks the water. This is the most popular location at this property for sure. It can also do ceremony, cocktail hour, and reception for a guest count of about 40. We can do all three in the same location. It's also very close to the beach, so it's also popular to do a beach ceremony at this and then move up to this location for cocktails and reception. And then last but not least, I'm going to go over Planet Hollywood. So this is our rooftop 24. So at the Planet Hollywood properties, the rooftop locations do not have an additional charge for ceremonies. So it's a bit of a perk there. So we can definitely use them. So there is this rooftop location. This one's only used for ceremony and cocktail hours. We do have another rooftop that is larger that we can use for all three events. But this one in particular is definitely the highest. I think it's on the 6th floor. So it has a bit of a higher view. And it is covered as well, which is kind of nice so that you're not standing there in the sun in the heat.
Awesome. Okay. Next, we are going to move into Jamaica. So, I'll do a brief overview of some of the properties, but I'm going to do a little bit more of an overview into our Blue Waters and Hideaway Blue Waters location because it was recently renovated and changed brands. But to start, we have our Royalton Negril location. And attached to the Royalton Negril is the Hideaway Negril. But a little known fact is that we also have the Grand Lido, which is attached to the back area of the Royalton Hideaway. And the Grand Lido is a au naturel property with only 26 rooms that we have seen buyouts for wedding groups. It's a secluded area and it's staggered access to the resort. So anyone who has Grand Lido can access everything on property. Anyone who is staying at the Hideaway has full access to everything at the Royalton. And then anyone staying at the Royalton is access just to the Royalton to ensure that any experiences are truly adults only. Next, we have the Royalton Blue Waters and the Hideaway Blue Waters. And as some of you are aware, the Hideaway Blue Waters was previously known as the Royalton White Sands. There was a construction period of about 1.5 years where the property did a general facelift on the previous White Sands area. And Lori and I were just there a few months ago. It's beautiful. And we actually stayed on the Royalton Blue Waters side, not the Hideaway side, and found that we didn't feel restricted in our access in any way. So just a brief overview of what the Blue Waters is. It is 228 rooms. You have 11 restaurants because there are some restaurants that you still remain access to on the Hideaway side. And there are specific seatings and reservations that are needed for all ages groups to get access to those restaurants. But it's meant that it's a pretty open experience and allows everyone who is maybe previously booked at the Royalton Blue Waters to feel like they're not missing out on anything that was previously included in their White Sand stay. They have a number of swimming pools. The Teens Club and Kids Club is, of course, on the Blue Water side. And then there's a cute little pirate-themed water park. Of course, there's the spa and the fitness areas that are accessible as well. And then on the Hideaway side, the Hideaway Blue Waters is our largest hideaway that we have at any of our properties because it's 352 rooms with absolutely stunning views, regardless of which side of the resort you are looking at. There are 6 restaurants that are officially adults only, but anyone staying at the Hideaway side, of course, has access to the Blue Waters. And then we have adults only exclusive pools and adults only exclusive beach. And this is one of our most popular wedding locations that we have at the Blue Waters property. Now, as I'm sure all of you are aware, the hurricane that ripped through Jamaica in July was quite devastating to the area. And we as a company were lucky that all of our staff were safe, that there were no injuries on property, that we didn't experience any significant damage to the hotel, and running water and electricity was consistent throughout. But unfortunately, some of our wedding locations did take a bit of a hit. And one of the locations is the beach gazebo, but I am pleased to announce that it has been rebuilt. We just haven't had the time to take the fancy photos of it yet, but the wedding location is back up and operational as per usual. So if you have any clients who have maybe heard that there was a wedding location that was affected, we have our white beach gazebo here, and we are waiting on updated photos of our ocean view gazebo, which is just having the finishing touches put on it now. And as some of you have maybe seen, this is our Ocean Point gazebo at the Royalton Negril, which is one of our most stunning locations that has views of the sunset. It is an all ages location. for ceremonies despite being in the hideaway section of the property. Similar to the White Sands and Blue Waters Resort, this location also experienced damages during the hurricane in July, but it has been since rebuilt. We have not, again, been able to take the time for professional photographs, but I wanted to show everyone how it looks and how it is a little bit different than before. We previously had wooden planks all the way back, but we have reduced the wooden planks in place of textured, almost like a concrete, to prevent any slips and slides of any clients coming down a little bit of a runway. This has not affected the total number of guests that we can hold in this location, which I believe is still 200. And we've been fully operational now in this location for several months. So again, if any clients are concerned, please tell them that the Royal Tinder Grill is back up and running and smooth sailing. Next, we're going to touch on the Dominican Republic. And I'm going to do a little bit of a focus on specifically the Royalton Punta Cana Hideaway and Splash property. Having been a travel agent for several years myself before being in this role, I was consistently misunderstanding what each of these properties, like stay and play things were, or who had access to what, or where they actually were located. So we're going to go over that a little. To start, the Royalton Punta Cana is the beachfront property that you see here on this map. We have a hideaway section of the Hideaway Punta Cana, which is also right at the front of the beach. So everything that you see on the right side of that dividing line is Royalton Punta Cana and Hideaway Punta Cana. And then everything that you see behind that line is actually the Royalton Splash Punta Cana. The Royalton Splash Punta Cana is extremely popular with Canadians. Specifically, we've noticed a huge increase in our Quebec market as well for that property. It's a more economic brand option for families, and it still does have full access to the beachfront property at the Royalton Punta Cana, but there is limited access to the restaurants at the Royalton Punta Cana, and there's no access to the hideaway. Anyone who is staying at the Royalton Punta Cana has free access to and from the Royalton Splash property, and anyone at the hideaway has full access to all three of the properties without any differences in access. I'm happy to also go over this with anyone who has any questions with any upcoming groups. If you have any weddings here, note that all of the wedding locations across the properties are consistent, and clients staying at any three of the properties have full access specifically to the wedding events. Finally, we get a lot of questions about the Royalton Bavaro having full access and privilege between the Royalton Bavaro and the Splash. It's about a 10-minute drive between the two properties. They are not close by, so we do not advise that if you have any clients staying at, say, the Bavaro, that their guests stay at the Punta Cana property and vice versa. Anyone who's coming to any events that isn't staying at that property will be asked to pay our day pass fee. We have an amended one for wedding groups, and there is no full exchange privileges for the water park either if you are not staying at the Royalton Punta Cana or the Hideaway. All right, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the highlights at each of the properties. The Royalton Punta Cana specifically being the beachfront property has the beachfront wedding locations. And this is one of them, which is called our central or brown gazebo, and it can be beautifully dressed up and quite a lovely spot, as you can see, for weddings. But one of my personal favorites for weddings at the Royalton Splash Punta Cana Hideaway properties is actually the Eco Garden Gazebo. Now, technically, it's located on the Royalton Splash side of the property, but it's accessible by everyone, and it's one of the few locations that we have that is 100% private and secluded. It's a little garden off the path that you would walk if you were going back and forth between the two properties. And if you have under 50 guests, you can have all three of your wedding events back to back in this location. You can see the palapas over there. They can be used for photo booths, for the DJ booth, for a bar. To the side of this photo is a platform where clients can dress up the platform for their wedding itself, their ceremony, and the cocktail area can also be had in this area, provided that the group is small enough. Next, I'll touch on Bavaro. Now, Bavaro is one of our properties that is no staggered access. It isn't attached to any hideaway, and it is usually my recommended best property in the Dominican for families because families have full access to everything that you see there. Another real highlight of this location in particular, not just how pretty it is that it's right at the corner of the property, which means that it's a completely secluded beach section for anyone who wants that private beach wedding. And it's attached to a concreted area behind our Diamond Club pool, which allows for anyone with mobility, disability, or wheelchair accessibility access required to move freely between this location and anywhere else on property. A lot of other resorts are not able to offer this kind of beach access or view while still being wheelchair accessible. So if you have someone who has a family member and that is very important to them, this is definitely a recommended location for them. All right, we're going to move into St. Lucia. Lori.
Okay, so St. Lucia does have obviously the hideaway section as well as part of the larger Royalton brand at this property. So again, access would be the same. You stay at Hideaway, you can use the rest of the Royalton location, but not vice versa. The weddings locations here, the first one we're going to go over is our Sky Terrace location. So that property, this would be the largest Sky Terrace location we have outside of Mexico. So, sorry, excuse me. This is very popular. Quite often we'll have a large group reach out for maybe say Negril, where we have a Sky Terrace, but it may not be large enough. This location specifically can do up to, I think it's 130-ish for a ceremony. So it is quite large. It does have this very typical stone-like structure that we have at the majority of the Sky Terrace locations that we offer. And again, this location is an additional $1,500 for a ceremony, no additional charge for a reception in this space. We have actually one additional location we're going to look at for this property, which is my personal favorite. So, sorry. This is our Diamond Club deck. So this location, find it very popular with couples who are looking to be maybe beach side, but not right in the sand. So it is a raised platform that is, the beach is just to the side, but right behind it is some really lush, beautiful greenery. So quite often we get couples that are looking to do a destination wedding, but maybe don't want to be right in the sand or that type of thing. This is a really great option and gives a really great second option. And we do a lot of ceremonies here and then receptions at the Sky Terrace. This location holds about 60 guests for a ceremony. The next location we're going to go over is Royalton Antigua. So we actually have, so Royalton Antigua is was the first property that was built here. It does have, as you can see in that photo, 6 over the water bungalows. They do book out very far in advance. So if you have clients that are interested in those locations specifically, definitely check on that availability for sure. Those locations are adults only. So there is no hideaway section to this property, but obviously for safety reasons, those locations do not allow for anybody under the age of 18. We also in Antigua have this new property, which is our Royalton Chic. So this is a standalone adults only property. It does also have over the water bungalows that I believe were just recently completed. So I can't remember the exact number, but it's around the same as Royalton Antigua. So there are a select few of them available. Again, they book out really far in advance, and are very, very popular. They're also very popular for like the wedding couples who are looking to stay somewhere a little bit extra special, maybe have a little bit of an extra budget. So those are really great options in terms of accommodations. Now, for wedding locations, this is the Sky Terrace at Royalton Antigua. It is one of the smaller ones that we offer. It does have obviously the stone structure or archway, which really does kind of lend the location to either be dressed up like it is in this photo, or honestly, it does look beautiful just left alone, depending on what the couple's looking for. Again, this location is the additional 1,500 for a ceremony specifically. And then the next location that we have is the beach here. We don't have a ton of photos yet. Sorry, excuse me. We do not have a ton of photos yet for this property, as it only started hosting weddings, I believe it's September of this year. So it is very new. Um, but this is a beach setup that we have at this property. As more photos become available, we will certainly be adding them to our locations document so we can share them so people can see how gorgeous this property looks. But this is basically what we have to share at this time. And then next, we're going to move over to Grenada. So, Royalton Grenada is also a relatively new property. I can't remember the exact date. It's been opened in the last couple of years. Um, but it does have some really neat wedding locations as well. I know sometimes this one isn't as popular just because of the flight schedules. It's not quite as easy to get to as some of the other islands, but it definitely does have a lot to offer for sure. So the beach at this location is gorgeous. It definitely has some. We can do ceremonies, cocktails, and receptions there. It's got some beautiful trees and stuff like that on the beach space. So definitely a great option at this property. Yeah, see, this is a reception setup on the beach there. Really gorgeous. And then last but not least, I'm going to go over Planet Hollywood, Costa Rica. Personally, I love this property. I was lucky enough to actually, it was about a year ago that I was there. Um, it is very different from the property, although the branding and everything, the rooms look very similar. But the property itself is very different from the one in Mexico. So this is a much smaller property. Um, the beach here is black sand. It's definitely not that like white sand. So if you have somebody looking for a white sandy beach for a ceremony, this would not be the place. But the beach is still gorgeous, just a different look. There's also tons of gorgeous trees and lots of coverage on the beach. So it's really great for shade and stuff like that as well. So you're not necessarily standing in the blazing sun. There's also monkeys that live in the trees on the beach at this property. It's really funny. And they just like run through the trees throughout the day. But this property is really hilly as well. So that's one thing. Our sales team will help you guide you through booking locations for this property. Some of the locations are located at the top of the hill, and then some are at the bottom of the hill where the beach is. So we always recommend that the locations get booked either all at the top or all at the bottom. So we're not trying to move a large number of guests. Doesn't allow for great event flow. And the hill is honestly, I would say definitely walkable in running shoes, but if you're wearing dress shoes or maybe heels of some kind, it's not really like you could do it, but it would be uncomfortable. We do have golf carts that run, so they will definitely do that, but to move a large number of guests all at the same time would be challenging. Um, but this property has gorgeous views. The most amazing staff. I can't say enough nice things about it. This is our rooftop, so this is definitely the most popular location. It is massive. So this photo does not do it justice in terms of the size. We can do ceremony, cocktail hour, and reception in this space. There is also an alternative location that is literally located one level above that allows for even better views. It seats about 50. We use it for ceremonies. So quite popular combination at this property is to do the ceremony on the third floor terrace and then have guests move down one floor and do cocktails and reception on this rooftop space here. And again, because this is Planet Hollywood, there is no additional charge at all to use this rooftop location. So now I'm going to go over our current Black Friday deals. So these just launched yesterday. They will be running for booking forms that we receive between yesterday and December 6th. So the couple will be able to receive 10% off their entire wedding. So that's off anything that's going to go on their wedding invoice, that it's going to take 10% off of the overall total. So especially if you have clients that are booking a large package or adding a lot of things on, this is going to save them a great deal of money. It is valid at both Royalton and Planet Hollywood properties. And if you have any questions about it, you can always reach out. We're happy to help, but it's a great selling feature right now that can save your couples a decent amount of money for sure. We are also running, which this does not happen very often. I think I've seen one South Asian promotion in the 5+ years that I've been with the company.
Yeah.
One, literally, this is the second. So if you have any South Asian couples that are looking to book a wedding at a Royalton or Planet Hollywood property, this is a huge savings for them because one of the most common things I think to have added on to those South Asian packages is to extend the reception time. So these promotions will allow those couples that are booking to add on an additional maximum of 4 hours of free event time. So that's the open bar and the location, which is a huge saving for these events. So again, this is like a steal. Like we haven't had South Asian, we very rarely have South Asian promotions. So this one is really good. And our sales team, we have a number of them that work specifically on South Asian weddings and booking them. So they're happy to help with any questions or availability, going through packages and all of that.
Okay. I'm going to talk about wedding commission quickly. Any of the packages that we've mentioned here today that are of cost come with a 10% amount commissionable back to you, the agent. We just require that you contact us within 60 days to the wedding date, and we will be in touch with you with any forms or details that need to be completed or filled out by you so that it can be wired directly to your account. And the commissionable amount is in USD. So it can add up quite a bit. And it is on the package amount, not the extras, just to make sure that's out there. It's pretty consistent with everyone in the industry, but we always want to make sure we're saying it. Now, as mentioned, we have myself, Lori, and Laura, who, if you've been working with Blue Diamond for a while, you're probably familiar with her as well. We are all individuals who you can contact if you have any questions or need any help with something. And then finally, we have our Canadian BDMs. We have Dominica, Chanel, and Todd, all of whom can be contacted for any, whether it's general or wedding related questions. I do want to slip something in here just before we go to our question answer period. Since we have a predominantly, well, everyone here is Canadian, you may have noticed that in booking Blue Diamond that we have recently moved away from Air Canada vacations. You will always be able to book every single Blue Diamond hotel through Sunwing Airlines and more recently through WestJet Vacations as well. So if you're wondering who you can reach out to in terms of the suppliers, that would be the route that we recommend for you going forward, because there will be a reduction in the amount of Blue Diamond hotels being offered through Air Canada Vacations. Already started in November, but will continue on throughout the year. All right. And any questions or comments?
Okay. First of all, I have a comment how amazing this was. And you guys did a really comprehensive job of describing the weddings. the venues for them, the hotels as well. So I mean that's as important, right? That they want to make sure it's a good fit for all their guests and themselves, right? But I do want to just look over on Facebook, ladies, before we hit the questions, if that's
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
So Michelle, just a couple comments because I think it's important to say these too. Michelle said on Facebook, I took a group of 110 to the Royalton RM, I think Riviera Maya, last year, and it was amazing.
Good.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Glad to hear that.
And then Nika on Facebook said, the Royalton is my personal go-to, particularly the Hideaway.
Great.
So those are on Facebook. Um, and I guess everyone's asking about comments about reps and things like that on Facebook, guys. In the feed here, I put, of course, where you can find all the information for Blue Diamond Resorts on Spoiled Agent, which includes all the reps. I know you guys just talked about them as well. They're there, plus the links, plus all these lovely ladies' information that we've been talking to as well today, Lori and Carolyn as well. Okay. Great comments, ladies. Let's hit the
Thank you.
Q&A box. So a couple people have asked, and I'm sure you all know about reward programs. Are they coming? I know Tammy's asking. Also Lauren's asking.
Yeah, it is something that is on the plans. I know it's hard to hear. Um, any consolation of that is that at least with most of the products being available through Sunwing Vacations, you as an agent will qualify for Star Card points, which typically Blue Diamond is running promotions for of additional points too for booking specific hotels during specific time periods. So always take a look out for that for groups. Sometimes it can be up to 8 times the Star Card reward points. So that can become very lucrative as an agent. But in terms of a stay program, it is in the works, and we have been listening to agents because we want you to get to experience these hotels as badly as you want to get free nights.
Of course. Just a question on Facebook from Sabrina. Hi, Sabrina. She's asking, can you maybe go back to the Black Friday slide? Do you mind,
Absolutely.
Carolyn? Just
Yeah. Yeah, we
uh,
can leave that up for a wee bit. Um,
that one, I think. Yeah.
yes.
Okay, Sabrina, that's up there for you. Is
Yeah.
there anything that has to be said? I don't think so. It all pretty much says it.
Yeah, so I'll add to that. It does not apply to the luxury or pH free package. It applies to the refined, exclusive, pH love, or pH glam packages. Um, and if anybody's interested in all the terms and conditions, which there's not much additional to that other than when the booking form needs to be received, we can certainly just reach out to the wedding planner at royaltonresorts.com, and we can certainly provide you with all of the information. Absolutely.
Okay, great. You girls are a wealth of information, that's for sure. Lena, I know you started answering this, but I'll just go for it, Lori. Lena's asking, do you permit several weddings a day? And if so, how many? Great question.
That is a great question, and I was going to circle back to it, and then we got talking. But I will. Lena, it's a great question, and it honestly is resort specific. So they range anywhere from two or one. Actually, some of our properties only do one, up to a maximum of four per day. Our sales team is very specific. We have very specific rules on how everything is booked to ensure that there's nobody bumping into each other. The teams have lots of time to reset spaces if needed, if they're being reused. So it's a well-oiled machine in terms of how that works. But if there's any specific properties you are interested in knowing how many it does per day, you can let us know, and I'm happy to share that information.
Okay, great. I'm just gonna go over to Facebook because there's some stuff here too, guys. You guys are really popular today. Lots on Facebook as well, so that's great. So Tara, hi Tara, she's in I believe in the Edmonton area. So there's not a lot of locations available through Sunwing from the West. And I've been finding that WestJet, though they offer hotels as individual reservations, they don't have a lot of group contracts. So will WestJet offer groups to all properties?
WestJet is actively working on becoming more of a comprehensive travel provider. I know from personal experience that it could be difficult sometimes working with WestJet on groups, and I know that they are working very hard on improving that and becoming more of a Transat, Sunwing, Air Canada style of group contracts. and they're being offered the contracts and not having to go to the hotel independently each and every single time they're requesting quotes, if that helps.
Yeah, that's a great answer and a great question for sure, because they all want to sell you. That's the good news, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, Tammy. Tammy's asking, are they available to get pictures for social media to share with from like the presentation today? Would you guys, I know you guys are going to do a follow-up email with us, so maybe that's
Yeah,
the type of thing you can share.
we have a media gallery that has a ton of information, logos, fun stuff, and a weddings gallery as well that shows some of the wedding pictures that have happened in destination as well.
Okay, great. Just a few comments over here on Facebook, because this is where my Facebook is. I'm looking over there, guys. Julia, thank you so much for this presentation. I really learned a lot, really useful information. And Kim, thanks for all this information. It was great. Okay, back to the
That's
questions.
fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. And this is people are always wanting to know more about weddings and to be a niche market. I mean, groups are really where it's at, right? I mean, that's definitely the way to go. So weddings, groups, and people are getting married, they're gonna bring everyone with them, which is the best part. Okay, someone anonymous said, do the consultants at Planet Hollywood stay in touch with the wedding couples throughout?
Yeah, so I'll touch on that one because it's mainly my teams. So when a client has booked, they are either passed directly on to an offsite weddings consultant or they're directed to our pre-planning team. And our pre-planning team kind of facilitates a general inbox for any clients outside of the 6-month planning mark. If a client has questions, they're welcome to contact that inbox specifically. But if they're not actively contacting or actively looking for help at that time, we don't have much more to offer or provide to them. So we have more of a comprehensive, regimented schedule of contact after they've hit that 6-month mark. And it is not typically a member of the on-site team that is involved in their communication. It's usually our off-site team here. But almost everyone on the team at this point has been to Planet Hollywood. We run regular site visits, so we're all familiar with the locations and the venues and the team. And 2 weeks prior to the client's arrival is when they will get in contact with their on-site planner and get their on-site meeting organized as well. So I hope that helps answer that question. It's kind of client-led at the beginning and then becomes a lot more regimented as we go through the steps of the planning process.
Okay. And just to kind of touch on, Pamela's asking about the recording PDF of the presentation, if I can touch on half of that. Pamela, we record everything. So it's going to be housed a little bit later today. Give us some time under Blue Diamond Resorts supplier page on Spoiled Agent. You simply go to spoiledagent.com, go to hotels and resorts, and there you're going to find them. And also, I know Carolyn touched on how you can get images and things like that as well through what was the actual wording of the?
Oh, we have like a media gallery.
That's it. All right, so you're good for that. Um, Diane's asking, so travel agent rates. I know we do have
Yes.
some information also on our supplier page for you guys, but if one of your girls want to just talk to it.
Yeah, we absolutely have them. Dominica is a great resource as well, your BDM. She'll be able to connect you with, I think we don't have like an official chart like some of the properties do, but it is case by case basis, and she will help facilitate that process for you.
Okay, great. Okay, so Lauren's asking, were the rooms at the Royalton Punta Cana renovated, and will the Splash DR be scheduled for renos as well?
So a large portion of the Punta Cana property experienced a facelift style renovation in the last 8 months. So for the most part, the renovations at the Punta Cana property are completed, and that includes half of the Hideaway. Hideaway currently is half under renovation as well itself, but scheduled to be reopened for December 31st. There's no current plans for Splash, but I know that some of the general areas on property were included in the facelift project. Restaurants, kind of lounge areas, etc.
Okay, great. And Michelle's asking, for just FITs, is there much of a difference between the Royalton Splash and Royalton Cancun? I have a couple that's going to be traveling there with their 8-month-old, and they definitely want to swim out so the little one, when they're napping, they can get out and enjoy to swim. So would you recommend one over the other?
I mean, if they have children of other ages as well, probably the Splash. The Splash being a standalone family property it's new and it's fun, and we love the Royalton Riviera Cancun. Um, but it's something different that we have in that area. So I think the Splash might be a nice little change for them if they're familiar with the brand.
Right. Okay. Okay, ladies. I think that's it for questions. If you see the Q&A there. Okay. All
Yep.
right. Well, and I checked on Facebook. It looks great. And Dominica's email address, just so you know, Slovenia, it's all there. I'm going to add the link here where you can find all the contact information on Spoiled Agent because they're all there for you, everyone that you need. This is why we have a great supplier page with them. Everything is updated here. It's in the chat. I'll add it one more time. Facebook gets added as well. And I also added a little information where they can find and how they can contact, say, Dominica for the agent rates and things like that. So, ladies, great
Thank you.
job. Really great job. I loved it. I loved all the information and I learned something too. And it's great to, like I said, get the updates on the hotels as well. So,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
thank you so much for hosting. This
Yes,
was
thank you so
fantastic.
much.
and don't forget, if you guys hear from one of the ladies, we'll say by Tuesday, then this is really good news that you get to pick one of your 3-night stays where you want to stay, right? Between Planet Hollywood and Blue Diamond in general, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Amazing. And that's very generous. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
And we want to thank everyone, all the spoiled agents, for joining us, whether it was over coffee, whether it was over your lunch hour, depending where you're located across Canada. We had a great turnout between Zoom and Facebook today. So we want to thank you for all your support and our friends here at the Blue Diamond Resorts. Ladies, you guys did a great job, Lori and Carolyn. I enjoyed working with you today. And you guys can check out later on their supplier page. It'll be uploaded there. So if you missed it or want to go back to something, it's there for you. And all the other presentations we've done as well, also including with Laura as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great Friday, everyone.
Bye, Lori. Bye,
Okay.
Carolyn.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.